Westfield Memorial Hospital provides high-quality health care to residents of Western New York, offering patients the most sophisticated medical advancements while keeping the ease and familiarity of a community hospital. Support for Chautauqua Sunrise has been provided by WRFA 107.9 FM, Jamestown's public radio station, streaming online 24/7 at WRFALP.com. Low power to the people. Chautauqua Sunrise is made possible by a grant from Fredonia Place, a continuing care retirement community providing dignity in a modern luxury environment. Meter's Restaurant, a family tradition for over 50 years in downtown Ripley, is a proud supporter of Chautauqua Sunrise. Meter's provides all-day dining, banquet services, and custom catering, specializing in pie. Funding for Chautauqua Sunrise is provided in part by the Chautauqua County Industrial Development Agency, with offices in Jamestown, Dunkirk, and Westfield, helping businesses to prosper throughout Chautauqua County. From supporting people with disabilities to enjoy great lives, to providing health care services that are available to anyone, the Resource Center has been improving our county for more than 60 years. Learn more about how the Resource Center makes a positive difference in people's lives. From the Access Chautauqua Studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Chautauqua. We are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week from 9 to 10 a.m. Send events via email or call us live. Check us out on YouTube and Facebook. And now, from the Access Chautauqua Studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Chautauqua Sunrise. I hope you're all doing well, enjoying the winter weather as much as we possibly can. I know not everybody likes to get out there, but quite a few of us do. And there's cross-country skiing, or snowshoeing, good hiking, take the dogs for a walk, snowmobiling, ice fishing. Jeff and the crew, they like to get out there and catch walleye, I understand. So good stuff out there. I want to say good morning to everybody around the world because we're streaming live, and also good afternoon to my listeners on WRFA 107.9, low power to the people. Thanks for joining us. Tuesdays at 1 o'clock. Always remember that you can watch the show once again every day on Access Chautauqua, Spectrum 1301 at 2 and 8, and you can also catch us on YouTube forever. Throughout the show, if you have a question for myself or my guest, you can give us a call at 716-753-5225. If you have an announcement you want to make or something that's going on with your organization, want to do a shout out for a birthday, whatever, we're happy to have it. Well, our hearts go out to the folks in Texas right now. We've got family and friends down there, and I suspect many of you do too. Gosh, this weather has been kind of rough on them down there, and if any of you have any ideas of what we can do to help them, feel free to call and we'll share it here on the show. But I'm sure through the Red Cross and other agencies, FEMA and that, they're helping out. But wow, who would have thought that one? I guess sometimes our technology and our equipment isn't as good as we think it's going to be. So, well, anyways, warm thoughts and wishes for them. Some of my friends down there I've talked to said they're looking for 70 degrees this coming week, so it's going to warm up. But anyways, be safe down there for those of you that are watching. I got a general announcement from town officials in Ripley. I don't have the official wording right now, but they're asking for any of those of you that are from the Ripley area that if you would like to make comment regarding the South Ripley Solar Project to please put it in writing or email or hard copy to Doug Bowen over at the town building. And I think next week I may have a more of a formal one that's supposed to be coming out, but I did get the okay to announce this. So once again, if you have comment, questions regarding the South Ripley Solar Project, please get a hold of Doug Bowen in writing. There will be a hearing in a few weeks, and they will further discuss the project. But it's come to a point now where they need input from the community before they move ahead. Okay. All right, let's pop up that really snazzy picture that I sent you, Jeff. And I want to talk a little bit about COVID vaccines. Okay. We got that picture, Jeff? All right, there we go. Thank you. Well, there I am. My wife didn't want her picture taken, so I got mine taken. The nurses over there were super at the Westfield Memorial Hospital. There I am getting my first round of the COVID vaccine, the Moderna, I think it's called. So reason why I'm sharing this is because I did my own advice. What I've been giving you folks is get yourself on a wait list. Call to get on the wait list. Stop by, get yourself on a wait list. Whatever it takes, talk to your friends. I've been on that wait list probably 3 to 4 weeks, and out of the clear blue, I got a call. They said they had a cancellation. Could Barb and I come in at Tuesday this past week at 8 p.m. or 8 a.m. I'll get this right. Tuesday morning at 8 a.m. And I said, absolutely, we'll be there. People are concerned about the side effects. It affects everyone differently. Barb and I had similar side effects, but in different intensities. For instance, I got some chills in the middle of the night, which went away very quickly. Barb's arm was a little bit sore, longer than mine. Other than that, a little fatigue, maybe a slight headache. Advil took care of it real easy, and I'm happy to say by Thursday I was back to 100%. You get the next shot with this particular vaccine in a month, so we'll be back just before St. Patrick's Day in March. So please think about all that, and let's get that other slide of information up, Jeff. There was some phone numbers and things like that I want to post here as well. We're trying our best to give you information. I know it's a bit frustrating. There you go. So there's a website there basically you can go to, and I'm going to leave it up there for a bit. You can give them a call at 833-697-4829. You can go to the Chautauqua County, New York Connects, and there's a phone number there that we often use here, 716-753-4582. In the Mayville area, in Jamestown, 716-661-7582 in the Jamestown area, and in Dunkirk, 716-363-4582. You can go to the Chautauqua County government site and go to the health department. They have links that you can follow there where it says, am I eligible, and so forth. So please, don't just say I'll get to it, or you make a call to someplace and then you hang up. Be persistent, or stop in and go to like the CVS's, the Rite Aids. I understand Tops Markets is going to be giving out vaccines and so forth. So Wegmans just came through my ear. You gotta be advocating for yourself. Now you might say they're all full. Why should I do it? It's what we did with the Westfield Memorial Hospital. We were on the list, and after they got through the standbys and so forth, we got a call and we got our shot. So I'll give you my best shot here on some of this stuff. So there it is. And if you want to look at this information again, you can always come back and check it out on YouTube. Okay? So think about that. I want to give out a special shout to our crew today, especially Chris Burt, for hooking up the technology for my guest today. We'll explain in a little bit, but the guys here, sometimes they're the unsung heroes. You always see my face and my voice and other hosts for the various shows here at Access Chautauqua, but they really go far and beyond pushing the technology, pushing the equipment here in the room and so forth. And so we had to do a little extra this week, and we'll explain in a bit. My guest is actually waiting in the wings, but not here in the warmth of his home. looking at me right now, smiling. So we try to do everything we can to accommodate our guests and so forth. All right, before we get to my guest today, I have a few announcements to share with you, and then we'll get to the regular show. Okay, so this particular week coming up, February 21 to 27th, is called Library Advocacy Week. Libraries need support during Advocacy Week with this week, February 21-27. But the community is encouraged to write, call, or email at any time, so it doesn't have to be this week. To best help advocate, anyone can share a short story about the impact of their local library and ask that New York State does not cut fundings to our libraries. The current proposed New York budget has suggested a 7.5% cut to library funding, which could be detrimental. Think about it. If somewhere says we're going to cut your wages 7.5%, that's going to be pretty significant. Okay. They have a representative contact information at cclsnewyork.org, and you can go there. But basically, in our case, it's contacting Assemblyman Andrew Goodell and our state senator, George Borrello. And you can find that information most anywhere, and you can see that on the screen right now as well. Okay, so advocate for your library. Many people go to these places that you aren't even aware of, because if you don't go there, it doesn't necessarily mean others don't. And I know our Ripley Library is very busy when it's open full-time, and it's busy when it's even now during COVID part-time. So got to keep them going. Okay. We already took care of 16. So let's move on to number 17 here. Zoom active parenting classes. Okay, this is from our friends at Prevention Works. It says, join us for our upcoming active parenting classes, ages 5 through 12. 3 virtual 2-hour sessions via Zoom video communications. All right, so the first one is coming up February 24th, followed by March 3 and 10. The hours are from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m., and it's going to be on Zoom. And now, I've talked to you about Zoom before. You download it onto your phone or your computer. It's easy to use. And if you contact them, and I'll tell you the information here in a minute, they'll send you an email link, and you click on it, and magically there you are. Okay, what's it all about? Active parenting will give you the skills to achieve a fuller, more satisfying family life and help your children achieve greater happiness and success. This workshop will show you effective ways to open up lines of communication, teach children courage and other important character traits, encourage school success in 7 steps, prevent future problems with drugs, alcohol, and sex, use nonviolent discipline that really works, diffuse power struggles with your children, stimulate independence as your child grows older. Nowadays, a lot of the kids are home or on and off home, sometimes in school, sometimes home on their computers. So you might be finding some stressful situations and maybe need a few little tips on how to deal with those kiddos. So again, that's from Prevention Works. If you're interested, give Kathleen Colby a call at 780-2721, 780-2721, or you can contact her at kjcolby@preventionworks.us. Okay, one more announcement, and we're going to take a little break. Follow the red brick road. Even while some doors remain closed or restricted for local attractions, the tradition of showing off our myriad of local museums, institutions, and recreational facilities goes on. Doors Open Jamestown will be held online this year, featuring a fun and engaging online scavenger hunt. The theme is Follow the Red Brick Road. Viewers will have an opportunity to enter the scavenger hunt, searching for the Wizard of Oz themed items strategically placed in each video from each local attraction. There will be chances to enter each time you spot a special item in the video. The more entries you have, the better. Your chances of winning a prize package. and they're being donated by the local attractions in addition to Chautauqua gift cards from the Chamber of Commerce. If you haven't used a Chautauqua gift card, it's like a little gift card that you use normally for a lot of the big store places, but you can take it and shop like, I don't know, 100 different places in Chautauqua County, and I've used one, so it's really fun to have. In addition to the focus on nonprofit attractions, this online event will highlight many of our local businesses, and we've been reminding you to shop local. Watch for more details to be announced soon, including links for viewing this unique event beginning at 12 noon, high noon, on Saturday, February 27th. That's next week. Viewing opportunities will be available on Facebook and YouTube. All right, so we're going to take a little breather right now, have a public service announcement, and my guest Bill Ward is in the wings on the screen in front of me. So stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Na 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 na, I love you so. I love you, I love you. La 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 la, la 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 la.
We're here.
Yay!
It's a short drive from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
Okay, we're going to use some new technology that, well, it's probably old technology, but for us it's sort of a new way of doing business. We did this with Frank Fanning when he was stuck in Canada a while back, and so that worked out pretty well. And so we had to do this once again because our good friend Bill Ward just came back from a wonderful vacation. And, well, as you know, with the travel restrictions, he's like, I don't know, Bill, how far away are you? Like a half a mile from here? A quarter of a mile? You're probably one of my closest guests, and I can't get to you, man. So anyways, good morning and welcome to Chautauqua Sunrise again. We've been here before. So how are you?
Good morning, Doc. It's nice to be here. Thanks for inviting me. I'm sorry that I am sort of rushing around. I want to thank your technology folks, especially Chris, for hooking this up because I had to do this in kind of a hurry, not because of any mess up on his part, just because I'm slow. So don't make me do a song right away.
Okay, we'll give you. I understand that part completely. Okay, so you're in Mayville and you're quarantined, right? Is that the deal?
Well, yeah. My wife is as you know, she's a frontline worker. She works at Westfield Memorial Hospital as an ER nurse, and we have family and good friends in the Virgin Islands whom we visit every year. And I usually go down there and play music there for a month. John Cross has come with me before. So we struggled as to whether to go or not this year, but we went. We took every precaution. We have a timeshare there where we were able to essentially quarantine, stay away from folks, not go to any indoor places. It was very safe, and we, despite all that, we really struggled with whether to go. But she really needed to just get away, and of course, as her supporter, I felt it was necessary that I go with her.
Well, as a dutiful husband, but you know, I think a lot of people are feeling exactly that way, Bill. I think people have been stressed to the max, and folks like your wife, firemen, I mean, I don't want to even give the list. All the frontline people, EMS folks, I mean, they're just to the bone tired, and you know, I get it. So, well, I'm glad you had you're back, and I know you had a little trouble coming back though, didn't you, with the weather? Is that what happened?
Well, we did, and again, I just want to reiterate that we took every precaution that the Virgin Islands, that New York State required. We tested before we left. I tested before I came back. I'm actually going to be able to, according to New York State, test out of quarantine in 4 days.
Oh,
so
excellent.
That should be. I tested it before I came home. But anyway, we didn't have a particular trouble other than having to go through the Philadelphia airport. And that's, God bless Philadelphia. I love them very much, but their airport is awful. We were destined to come home on Thursday. The storm looked pretty rough up in this neck of the woods, up in the Philadelphia neck of the woods. So we opted to stay another day. But relatively few problems. Everybody was compliant. Everything looked safe, and I think as long as you're careful, things are okay.
Well, I'm glad that you had a good trip and you're safe and went well. Well, good for you. I asked you to come on the show today because you've been a musician all your life, as far as I know. I've sort of tracked your career since you were in your teens, I think.
As far as I know, I've been a musician
all your life.
Too.
So, what's the life of a musician? Nowadays, it's pretty rough, isn't it? With the COVID.
It is. I'm blessed because I get to do other things. I'm at a point where we have some other sources of income, and we have, as folks get older. I'm not, I'm almost 39, and
I didn't know that. Your Facebook says 37.
Gotcha. But yes, things essentially ground to a halt. Right before our trip last year, we did a benefit for the Watershed Conservancy, one of my dearest and nearest causes, and that was at the end of February, and that was then we took off. I was gone for a month.
Wow.
Playing music, like I said, in the VI, and came back. Just barely got back by the time everything had, and it was a mess. A lot of folks, a lot of us who were booking gigs, or who had gigs booked, tours booked, it ground to a halt.
Right.
And that term gig worker that's being thrown around does not apply to many musicians.
Wow.
They weren't eligible for a lot of the help that was being offered. Kind of slipped through the cracks. So folks were left high and dry.
Wow. Well, and I was doing some, I'm like a weekend musician, and it was March 15th, I was playing out in Cherry Creek at the Trillium, and the next day, I think it was, the world stopped. It was like, I call it the St. Patrick's Day massacre. People got to realize that people that are musicians, that's their livelihood, and hopefully, soon y'all will be back on the road, and us part-timers will be on the road, and we'll get to live music again. But you've sort of taken a little different tack as far as in the interim here with a program that you've developed, right? That's online.
Well, it's different for me.
Right.
A lot of folks began doing this. A lot of my musician friends began doing this at the very onset. Began having live stream programs, and of course, that evolved quickly. The technology for that evolved very quickly, and there are some folks who are doing very elaborate setups. And of course, we've all seen everything from some benefits to the inauguration show that night. So that's all changed. But at the very beginning, I was reluctant because I had a good, I'd had a good winter. I'd had a good spring. We were doing okay. So I was reluctant to jump into that right off the bat. But after a while, I realized that my niche was a 1-hour show. Every Friday night, which nobody seemed to be doing a Friday 6 o'clock slot. Everybody was going to 7 and 9. And so I tried that. And it was after watching a lot of other folks' shows. I learned some things. I learned some things after doing the first few of them. And one of them was not to talk too much. The other one was, keep playing music and keep it to an hour. And that has seemed to work. It's been a format that we've had a blast with. It's one of those things, and I keep saying that I'm hoping that it continues even when we are able to get out and play live music again. I can't tell you, Doc, and I'm sure that you've experienced this, how many people come up to me or contact me and say, hey, listen, this has been my only experience with live art.
Yeah.
Through some of these very, very lonely times.
Oh my gosh,
a lot
yes.
of folks have been
Isolation, big
been able
time.
to pick up on that and been able to experience that. And I can tell you, it's been the same thing for me.
Yeah.
I've been able to connect with folks. We go out on a few different platforms. We're shared all over the place. So, we're literally reaching hundreds of people. Sometimes I'll look at my reach after a particular program, and it'll be in the thousands.
Wow, terrific.
And I understand Facebook reach is only reach, but at least, there is the potential for that, and that just means people are paying attention to these kinds of things.
Yeah, it opens up a different market for you too, streaming live on Facebook and things like that. It's pretty, like I was saying to you earlier, we stream live here now. I got people down in Asia to watch the show, and in England and in Turkey. It's like, why would they watch this? But it's fun, and to have that hands across the water kind of a thing, and human bond. But you're right, isolation is tough right now.
It is, and I hooked up with some folks in the UK early. Would have been early last summer, I think. And I'm the name of the organization escapes me, but it is Mel Latimer heads an organization that helps musicians who are struggling, and so I did that benefit, and it was a worldwide benefit. We waited for our slot, we came on and did our thing.
Slick.
She did it pretty close to my regular Friday night. She was let me slide in, I think. But that, so now, the UK viewers come in. The other part of it is we get to connect with some folks that we perhaps haven't in a while,
Yeah.
even, friends and family. Mine has also become a bit of a family reunion. I was born up in New England, and a lot of my mom's side, they'll get together. They just use me as a reason to, I don't even think they care that I'm there anymore. They just chat with each other. So it's on all kinds of levels. It's been a great thing. And the other part of that is, and it's kind of like what you're doing, is we have this gift, this blessing of being able to take up. I don't know about you, but looking at social media these days, in the last few years, especially in the last year, there's been some awful stuff.
Oh my
One
gosh,
might
yes.
call it evil.
Yep, I'll give you
And we get to take up an hour of that space.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And do it with what I hope is entertainment, art, good news, making people happy and feel together. And for me, that's one of the greatest accomplishments is to be able to. And I know it's just a little tiny part of it. But there are all of these people who are spending an hour or so with me and not experiencing any of the other garbage that they might have been.
Let me piggyback on that, Bill. Last weekend, I actually played music for 2 nights, never sang a note. All I did was play instrumental music for Valentine's Day over at Meter's Restaurant. And
Beautiful.
They were tapping their foot. They were smiling. You could see the body language just relaxing. And then it was getting to be fun. And I'm sure you have the same experience where people are calling out the name of the song you just did, or they're humming along with you. And so Yeah, you're right. It's hard to explain to people, isn't it? Why we do what we do with music. It's like you have to do it, right?
Sometimes it's better when other people explain it. You know, I was blessed with a summer where I was able to play some live music. The Big Inlet Brewery.
We were there.
Right down the road. Did an exemplary job of keeping people safe. And a lot of people wouldn't go anywhere, but once some of the folks ventured out and saw what they did, they had traffic patterns
Yes.
set up. They had all the hand washing stuff at every table. They had complete social distancing. They followed every. As a matter of fact, some folks might know I'm also a county legislator, and we created a program that recognized folks who did such
Right.
things, who led the way, and they received early on a commendation for that sort of thing, as did Webb's, as did Pine Junction, and some folks who really deserved it, the Chautauqua Marina. So there were folks who were
They did it right.
instrumental in keeping people safe. So anyway, I got to play at some of these places, Andriacchio's. We did do our Monday night thing that this summer. I wasn't able to bring in special guests because the space didn't allow it.
Right.
They kept people safe as well. But you know, the folks that ventured out and looked around and realized that it was safe, it was like Christmas. And I can tell you, Doc, that the audiences, not that the audiences in Chautauqua County are ever bad, but they were the most attentive that I think I've ever experienced in restaurant/bar audiences in my whole life of playing.
Yeah.
They were so grateful. A lot of folks are realizing that, holy cow, this is art created right here on the spot that we get to palpably experience.
Yeah.
And again, I don't mean to belittle their perception before.
Right.
But we have all been sort of readjusted through this, and it has been, it's been a blessing, I think, in a lot of ways for a lot of folks to have a new perspective on the kind of art that we get to perform and we get to perceive.
You know, you and I with the Growlers played in November, wasn't it? There was a really beautiful.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah,
it was so much fun. I really enjoyed that. It was a great time. And you're absolutely right. You know, I've over the years, and you hit on it a little bit, that maybe people have sort of taken musicians for granted over the years. And I used to say sometimes I feel like the ketchup and the mustard on the table, just a condiment, because sometimes they're talking, they're on their phones, they're not paying attention to what we're doing. But you're absolutely right. At the Big Inlet, everybody was like right in there with us, singing and clapping, and you're right. I hadn't thought of it that way.
I mean, they're realizing what a gift it is,
Right.
and I'm okay with Hey, I signed up for this. This is I'm okay with salt and pepper. I'm okay with condiments.
Right, right. As long as you know it.
If that's where I go and I play at the Athenaeum. We didn't this year, but when I go there for like a dinner gig, I'm understanding my time and place.
Right.
I'm understanding volume. I'm understanding that I get to stand on a porch overlooking this gorgeous lake playing music for people.
Yeah.
Playing songs.
Right.
And so I appreciate that, even if it's not a rapt audience.
Right. Well, and I understand it too, but I have to talk to some musicians. They get all ticked off because they're not paying attention. I go, just get used to it. That's the real world, and it's okay. And like you say, then sometimes they tune into you, and then it's good. So it is what it is.
If we get to sometimes just bow our heads and play songs.
Yep.
That's still okay.
That's okay.
Absolutely. I mean, it really is.
Yeah. Bill, you and I have talked about this on the show before, but what kind of music do you do? And because I've understood it more and more since the last time we talked about this. You use the term Americana. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, that has become a bit of a catch-all.
Right.
I guess I would be included in that thing. I guess ever since my friend Chuck Pyle died, and I certainly don't mean to compare myself to him because he's one of my heroes. And I've got his hat on, I think, right now, the Zen cowboy hat.
Yeah.
He called himself a folk singer, and that's a term I think that probably throughout the years has been the most accurate. Obviously, what I do has been pretty eclectic. I've even gone in and did ski resorts and done, well, I've never been that sort of evening of standards kind of guy, but I would have to say that being a folk singer is probably part of that Americana, and folk singers. Chuck did everything from gypsy jazz to Western swing to his own sort of brand of folk. So I guess you could call me a folk singer, but Americana I think encompasses all of what I just said. There's a bit of a stigma. I use that term in a good way, to standing up there with a guitar and playing music all night.
Yeah, I do.
You do. And I'll tell you, because of the latest dynamic that we just talked about, getting up there and doing songs that you've written or that maybe are more obscure, less known, has become much more valuable to folks, and so you get to kind of stretch your folk singer legs, muscles, in that way.
I think Americana also allows people to say bluegrass is okay, folk is okay. You can get a little country in there, and it all kind of gets mixed in there together. I'm playing with the Growlers now, and Bob Henry and Randy Henderson, they asked me to join them, and they started introducing me to some of these groups I've never heard of before. And I think they fall into the Americana. You can't exactly say it's this kind of music, but it's great music, and I'm loving it.
Right, and I've really enjoyed, Bob Henry. Now that you speak of, of course, I've always appreciated and enjoyed what you have done through the years, because that's, I don't know. What you do is you bring some perhaps traditional Irish or some folk songs that people haven't heard,
right?
And that's the heart of Americana, I think, where that is introducing folks to some things that perhaps they haven't heard, right. and getting them to appreciate it.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
Bob, I played with Bob Henry.
Yeah.
In high school.
Yeah, he told me that.
We were in the, we had a garage band. It was a barn band. And we played out a few gigs, but, I recognized him as a gifted guitar player back then. But, the guy hadn't gone out and played music like we all have for 30, 40 years. And the first time I heard him play in the last, say, 5 years, which is when he really started to want to do some solo stuff and some singing, I was blown away. I think the guy is there, and this may sound haughty, but there are very few solo performers that I can sit and listen to all night. Yeah. And that has nothing to do. That has to do with my attention span. It has nothing to do with how good anybody is. Yeah. Bob is one of those people. Yeah. Bob, I could sit and listen to all night. He is pleasant to listen to. He has a great voice, a great style, and a great gift for choosing songs.
Yeah, I agree. I feel very fortunate that they invited me to join them, and we're just blending all our styles together, and it's fascinating what we're doing now. So I'm looking forward to a new season. Yeah.
You and what was it, Lakeside Stroll? Was that the other? That's Tad Newell's group with John Sitzenstatter. You guys are doing a thing that connects with people because, like Randy sings with you, and Randy's good and fun and great, but he's never really played a lot of music before. And so you're bringing that sort of everyman vibe to your performances.
Yeah.
And that connects with people right away.
Yeah.
They feel like they're hanging out in your garage. Not that you're a garage band, but I mean that's
At
your professional
ground level.
vibe.
Very organic.
You're able to get that across, and that's cool.
Very cool. Bill, I'm going to give you a second to tune up. I'm going to do a little station break, and would you play some music for us?
Sure.
All right. So, folks, you're watching Chautauqua Sunrises, and this has been such a pleasure talking with Bill Ward right now about music and the music scene and our backgrounds and what's going on out there in the real world of music. And I've asked Bill to play a song or two and tell us a little bit about the song, perhaps. So, once again, if you are interested in giving us a call at 753-5225, that'll be great. If not, just like last week, we had my old partner, Will Russell, and his new partner, Ellen Beckett. If you missed it, it's on YouTube. They did some Celtic music. And so we're featuring, again, another musical display here today. And is that your 57, Martin?
This is, yeah, sorry, I had to get up. I didn't have a capo with me. This is a 1957 Martin 018. And I've had this for a few years. I will tell you because, just because I like you, that it is my birth year guitar.
Yes, I knew that. But I like you, and I didn't say that.
You were going to say that, and I appreciate it. But it's one of my favorites. As we speak, though, I am having another guitar built by my friend Chris Bozung in Fairview, Tennessee. It is going to be the same size as this one, so I can sort of, not beat this one up so much.
Bill, this is a little bit smaller than like a Dreadnought. I'm not familiar exactly with that particular model.
Yeah, this is Dreadnoughts are the big ones.
Yeah, that's what I use.
And then they make smaller body guitars. There are essentially three sizes of small body guitars in the Martin nomenclature.
Yeah.
One is a 000. That would be like an OM, like a little tighter waist. Then there's the 00, which is a little smaller. And then there's the 0, which is kind of smallest towards the parlor guitar range.
So,
and this one is that.
Okay, super. All right, and see, you got one for your birth year, but my wife couldn't afford the year I was born, so we'll leave it there.
Yeah.
You get to a certain point, and it's in the multiple thousands. I'm good with the one I have, though. So what you got for us?
These are getting tougher, too, because...
I'm sure.
I
do.
The war years ones are gone. So, are you ready for a tune?
Yeah,
can you hear me all right?
I think so. I can hear you in my earpiece just fine.
All right, let's see if you don't need
take your time. We're good.
Since I have my Chuck Pyle hat on, I'm going to do one by him. And I know I like to... He died... it was just... Well, his birthday would have been just a little bit ago. I spoke with, I do some youth gatherings called Footsteps, and I get to do some leading there. It's a teen weekend, Christian weekend, and I did this song a couple of times for some talks that I did. I got a video the other day of some of the kids who have become players and worship leaders, and they were doing this song.
Oh, wow.
They loved it so much. So I sent this song to Chuck's widow. I sent that video to Chuck's widow, and she was completely touched. And wonderful. So this is a song by Chuck Pyle for the day, for the moment. There's an old ancient saying in the wind, one must only take a first step to begin. You're on your way, now you've done the hardest part. Just make your journey with a generous heart. Step by step, side by side, hand in hand, this whole world's a better ride. Step by step, side by side, take a little step with your neighbor side by side. We've stumbled and we've broken our stride, wearing old worn out boots of foolish pride. We're gonna put on our brand new running shoes, run a race in which no one can really lose. Step by step, side by side, hand in hand, this whole world's a better ride. Step by step, side by side, take a little step with your neighbor side by side. If you see me falling down and you stop to lend a hand, what goes around comes around, and around and around. If you run to another for help, it don't mean that you can't do it for yourself. It only means your friend knows where to go. If he needs help, he'll come to you. Step by step, side by side, hand in hand, this whole world's a better ride. Step by step, side by side, take a little step with your neighbor side by side. If we understand that God's the one true power, and that nothing that we see is ever really ours, that from a satellite we all look like one, I think our world's time may finally have come. Step by step, side by side, hand in hand, this whole world's a better ride. Step by step, side by side, take a little step with your neighbor, take a little step with your neighbor, take a little step with your neighbor side by side.
That was great.
Chuck Pyle, the Zen Cowboy, please look him up. He's got so many good songs.
Great. Well, you are in good voice for this early in the morning.
Very surprising. You know, it has to do with being in the Caribbean for 2 weeks, I think.
I guess so. I sound like a frog about this time of the morning. Bill, tell us a little bit how people can get involved with your Live at Your House series.
Okay, right now it is Facebook only.
Okay.
We are working on subscribers for YouTube so that I can do it there. So if you want to go to my YouTube channel, just look me up. It's Bill Ward Music would be my artist channel.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you that there is another Bill Ward who has a very, very significant YouTube channel. So it is a little difficult to navigate that. He happens to be the drummer for Black Sabbath.
Minor musician.
Pardon me?
minor role.
A little different music. I almost lost a wedding gig that due to him one time. The bride went to the BillWard.com instead of BillWardMusic.com, and she called me. She said, I went to your website. I found your music a bit issued. So anyway, it is Facebook. So if you go to my Facebook music page, Billboard Music. And just like the page.
Right.
You will get notifications only for that page. You won't see my my daily drama about
Your cat.
breakups and cats and no, I don't do that stuff. I don't do that stuff on Facebook. You might see a cat once in a while.
Yes, I do.
But anyway, go to the Billboard Music page, and just click on the like button. And if you when you see the event, it's always Billboard live at your house, which is I think Ken Hardley told me that was a little creepy, but I kept it anyway. So it's Billboard at your house, and if you don't, this is a misperception. I think some folks think that there are Facebook police who come, and if you click that you're going somewhere or are going to attend this, they will penalize you somehow if you don't. But please click whether or not you're going. Whether or not it'll say going, interested, or
Right.
can't go. Just click that you're going.
Yep.
Just click on going, and I won't hold you to it. But it really does. It helps those of us and all of the musicians who are doing this. It increases the algorithm and helps get the word out there. So if the more people who say they're going, or at least interested, the more it is going to be generated in other folks' feed. So, but anyway, if you click on the event page, it will remind you before it happens.
Okay. Bill, I know you have done instruction for Infinity and so forth. Are you still giving personal one-on-one instruction, or?
I haven't since I was working with Jim Holler over at Trinity Guitars for about 10 years, and we had a studio up there that we gave lessons from. And as a matter of fact, one of the kids who sent me that video was one of my students. But I haven't done anything. I've flirted with the idea of an online instruction, but again, that's been something that other people are making their living doing.
Right. It's a lot of work.
And so I'm sort of, and by the way, they're probably better at it than I am. I think the next thing I do is going to be an in-person group, maybe beginner's guitar course or a beginner's performer's course. The other thing that I'd like to do down the road is perhaps a worship leaders workshop.
Good.
But speaking of Infinity, there are some great things happening there as well. I would urge folks to watch what's going on there. There is some work underway to revive, and this is maybe I'm speaking out of school, but this is something to watch for. There's some work underway with a few entities who are going to be able to keep this going to revive the Chautauqua County Music Hall of Fame.
Ooh.
And hopefully we can connect it with Infinity and some scholarships and some student recognition. So it's not just a bunch of us patting each other on the back. It'll be an ongoing, living sort of a thing. And right now, the death of T.C. Smith sort of who was a great musician around here. He had a group called Colt Station back in the day.
Yep,
he played with Bumpy for a few years.
I know all those guys,
Yeah, who is in the Hall of Fame. And that has revived an interest by some folks who were near and dear to him. So I'm working with them to try to see what we can do. And with Mike Salamone, who was one of the folks who began this thing with Chautauqua Region Word. So just watch for that.
Excellent. Well, keep me in the loop, and certainly if there's any promotion you need, we'll certainly do that. Bill,
Absolutely.
we're talking about youth a little bit, and since you are well down the road on your career in music, what would you say to an aspiring young musician as far as making this a full-time career, or anybody that maybe midlife wants to switch around and do something like that?
Yeah, what you were trying to say is my youth is not even visible in the rearview mirror. Is what you were.
You put it better than I would have. No, I'm talking about young kids, or something like that.
It's hard, and it's easy. Right now, it's difficult to play music anywhere, obviously, but in whatever is going to be the normal world, I have realized that young folks are smarter than old folks. So, and they have more energy. And I don't consider myself an old folk. I ran pretty close to 70 miles while I was down in
Good for you. Mm-hmm.
the Virgin Islands, and that's hilly. That's hilly country, I will tell you. But I'm older, and as Bob Dylan said, I was so much older then.
Oh,
I'm younger
that
than
song!
that
I love
now.
that song. Yeah.
And there is some truth to that. I think that there is some wisdom that they say that youth is wasted on the young, but I think that someone who is passionate about their music or their art, whatever art that is, and they want to work hard, they can go ahead and follow that passion. They're going to be aligned, corrected, straight, whatever has to happen is going to happen. And there are folks around, of course, like Infinity. There are mentors. When we did the Bluegrass Festival, I experienced kids in bluegrass music. Phenomenal. People would call them prodigies. And I don't know what makes a prodigy except for the fact that the string that I saw that held them all together was a work ethic, a superhuman work ethic. When they weren't playing music, when they weren't practicing music, they were seeking other people who were better than them to play with. One was Sierra Hull. And she, when she first came to us, she was 15 years old. One of John Guerin's sort of not proteges, but he had a group of kids who he was supporting. That includes Corey and Jared Walker. There are other ones, but Sierra now is the queen of bluegrass mandolin and sing. She has won IBMA awards all over the place. She's big, but what I saw from her was practice.
She got it.
Play.
She figured it out. Yeah.
And then play some more.
Yeah.
And look for people to play with. Look all the time for people to play with who are better than you.
Mm-hmm.
That was my secret. I got to play with people who made me look good all the time, and I still do that. I get to still play with people who are just phenomenal musicians, and they do a thing called the Bluegrass All Stars up at the Sportsman's Tavern. They had been doing it, and they're just starting it again on I think one Thursday a month, where they got the best bluegrass guys from Buffalo area to get together at lunchtime and play some music, and it's packed in there. Well, not now, but it's just a fabulous thing. And one time they called me up and they said, this is a few years ago, they said, well, Doug Yeomans is out of town. Can you fill in for him?
Wow.
And I said, absolutely not. I said, I can take up the space on stage where he is. But I went in there and they were so kind, and we have had a blast. I've done maybe 7 or 8 of them now,
Right.
and so I can't, I'm trying to figure out ways to get Doug out of town so that I can. But anyway, so Doug is a good friend of mine.
Absolutely.
He's come down and done gigs with me before,
Right.
and so I get to play with folks like that. I've been, I even started out around here. There's people like Adam McKillop who, he was one of my Infinity kids, one of my Infinity students back in the day. But he was also one of my ringers too. He was good then. I'd bring him in to help get the other kids playing with really good people. So. I've always been blessed to be able to do that. But to seek out, I think it is important to seek out folks who are better than you, maybe older than you, and play with them as much as you can.
Excellent. Good advice. Bill, we've run out of time, and I've really enjoyed our talk today and the music as well. So one more time, how do people check you out on Facebook? What's it called?
6 o'clock tonight. Let me make sure that survived the time change. It is usually 6 o'clock every Friday night.
Okay.
But because, yes, it's Friday night.
Live at your house.
Tonight is different, but it is every Friday night at 6. You can go right to my Facebook page, which is Bill Ward Music, and it will take you there.
Okay.
I am making sure that is happening at 6 o'clock today, and it looks like it is.
All right.
So,
All right. Well, listen, we definitely are out of time. Bill, we'll see you soon on the road and maybe over at the inlet. You take care and have a good weekend, okay?
Wait. Thanks. And I won't talk so much tonight. See you later.
All right. Bye-bye.